All right, let's dive right in. Today, we are talking about a total game changer, artificial intelligence, and more specifically, how AI is completely flipping the world of marketing on its head, turning it from an art of just, guessing into a real science of precision. You know the feeling, right? You pour your heart, your time, your budget into this amazing campaign, you hit launch, and silence. It's a feeling every single marketer has had. The old way of doing things, blasting out one-size-fits-all ads, it just doesn't cut it anymore. People expect a conversation now, not a billboard. And this slide just lays it out so clearly. On the left, that's the old way. Broadcasting, basically a monologue based on guesswork. But when you bring in AI, you shift over to the right. Marketing becomes a real dialogue. It's driven by actual data, which leads to this incredible hyper-personalization. It's a massive shift in how we connect with people. So yeah, all this change really brings the entire industry to a major turning point. Let's go at the marketing crossroads. It's this point where the old roadmaps just don't lead where you need to go anymore. This quote from a business owner really just says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that frustrating feeling of putting in all this work, only to realize your message is getting lost because you're talking to a generic everybody instead of a specific somebody. So what's the solution here? Well, it is time to meet your new AI copilot. And I am using that word copilot very, very intentionally. What if our team doesn't have the skills? I mean, this is such a real and understandable concern. You hear it all the time. There's this fear that AI is way too complicated, or even worse, that it's going to make our own jobs obsolete. But here is the absolute key takeaway. AI is here to augment your skills, not replace them. It's a tool. It does the heavy lifting, the number crunching, the repetitive tasks, and that frees you, the marketer, up to focus on the big stuff, the strategy, the creativity, and building those real human connections. And look, the pros are already on board with this. A huge 84% of marketing professionals see AI as a must-have for a competitive edge. This isn't some fad on the horizon. It's the new standard for staying in the game. Okay, so let's get practical. It's time to pop the hood and look at the actual power tools inside this AI toolkit that are driving this whole revolution. First up, we've got machine learning. The best way to think about this is as a super smart engine that's constantly learning from your data. It digs through customer behavior, their purchase history, clicks, everything, to find these hidden patterns and, this is the cool part, predict what they're going to do next. Next is natural language processing, or NLP. This is basically your universal translator for customer sentiment. It can read through thousands of reviews, social media comments, and support chats to understand how people really feel about your brand. It gets past the words to the emotion behind them. And finally, there's predictive analytics. This is like having a crystal ball for your marketing department. It uses all that historical data to forecast future trends and behaviors, so you can be proactive instead of constantly reacting. It's all about getting ahead of what your customers will want. Okay, so that's all the theory, but what does this stuff actually look like in a real world? Let's check out how some of the biggest names out there are already crushing it with these tools. I mean, just think about Netflix for a second. A massive 75%, 3/4 of what people watch on there comes directly from its AI recommendation engine. It's not just a cool feature, it is the absolute core of their business, keeping you glued to the screen. And it's the exact same idea over at Amazon. You know that famous customers who bought this also bought section? That is pure AI at work. And it's not just for show. It drives an incredible 35% of their total revenue. That's a direct line from AI to the bottom line. And Spotify, that Discover Weekly playlist that feels like it was made just for you, well, it was, by machine learning. The AI analyzes everything you listen to, creating this super personal experience that makes you feel like Spotify just gets you. That's how they turn someone who just listens to music into a die-hard fan. So, we've seen the big guys do it. Now let's talk about the real, tangible impact this can have on your campaigns. I love this slide because it's just so clear. Look at the difference. Before AI, maybe your campaign is converting at 2.5%. Pretty standard. But after using AI to optimize your targeting and personalize the message, boom, that rate jumps up to almost 7%. That is not just a little bump. That is a total game changer. And beyond all the numbers, there's a human side to this. This quote really gets to the heart of it. When you let AI do the heavy data crunching, marketers get to go back to doing what they love, being creative, building strategy, and actually connecting with people. It brings the fun back into the job.
So the big question, how do you even start? It can feel like a huge mountain to climb, but your AI adventure can actually begin with just a few simple steps.
First, just pick one clear goal. Don't try to solve everything at once. Maybe it's just improving email open rates. That's it. Second, pick a tool. A lot of platforms you're probably already using, like HubSpot or MailChimp, have great AI features built right in. And third, and this is key, start small. Run a single A/B test on one campaign, see what happens, and then build on what you learn.
So look, AI isn't some science fiction thing anymore. It's here, right now, and it's setting the new rules for marketing. By bringing it on as your co-pilot, you stop shouting into that void and start having real conversations that get real results. You're not just playing catch-up, you're getting ready to lead the charge. So the only question left is, are you ready?